So welcome, like I said, my name is Paul and I'm a Reformed Nerd, and today I'm starting off with something a little special. I am back to Railway Empire after a very brief pause. I can't really seem to stay away from this game too much. I'm just gonna switch my window over. Perfect, there we go, and seems like my orientation's a touch off. There we go. Apologies for that. But yes, today I'm just playing something a little bit special. Back to Railway Empire after a very short pause, because today they launched a brand new DLC, the German DLC. I'm particularly excited about this one, simply because, well, one, it's still Railway Empire, and that always makes me excited. And two, I would think that this is probably a well-done DLC, just because the developer is German, so I'd assume that they would have to put in a little bit more TLC with this one in comparison to maybe the British one, which frankly seemed just a little bit on the lazy side, I guess you could say. But I just realized I selected the wrong type of game, so I'm just fixing that up for free mode. Starting city, that is always a difficult one. Vienna, Bern. Okay, so if it goes this far down, they probably might even have Prague. They have Prague. Oh yes, I'm definitely doing Prague. I actually lived in Prague for like 4 years, and I miss it dearly. Territories. That's new. The region will be split into a single area for which your business has to secure access rights. The region will be split up into single areas for which your business has to secure access rights. I don't know what that means. This is one of the new features that they came out with. This the German DLC came with like 15 new buildings and like 2 or 3 new like concepts. Big Red, hey, welcome back. You're becoming like my only loyal fan. But yeah, Railway Empire, it's a beautiful game, very chill, but I always go for the engineer just because he reminds me of the doc from oh wow, I forgot the name of it. What's that movie called? Back to the Future, that's it. Yeah, so he just always reminds me of that guy, and frankly, that's good enough of a reason for me to always select him. Oh, and they changed his name too. Gustav. His name in the normal game, his name is Dr. Brown. Yeah, thank you, Big Red. So I'll just cue this up and kind of give a little bit of a background of what this game entails. It does have a tendency to do an audio glitch in this loading menu, so your computer is not playing tricks with you if that starts going crazy. But yeah, so frankly, this game is very laid back, pretty chill. You're basically got all of Europe, more or less, the Central Europe at least, where you need to develop a rail system. It needs to be highly efficient to get the supplies back and forth. Hey, no audio glitches. They fixed that with the update. Very good. Oh, it's not doing the manual pause option. Okay, yeah, that's odd. Was certain that I actually selected it. So, you know, I'm just gonna go ahead and do that, because frankly, without the manual pause here, Yeah, my Tropico 6 definitely was a big failure. But hey, to be fair though, I did manage to save that Stonehenge, how many times? I think it caught on fire like 6 times. For stones, that just seemed insane. Alright, so definitely going for Prague. Pause is manual. 100%, yes, I see that. That is manual. Alright, so... what is the advanced ones? I actually don't know what these are. Cost for tracks. Okay, wow, they added a whole lot of customizable options. So that's cool. I might have to play around with that later. Alright. So, yeah, I got sidetracked again. But basically, you have raw materials you have to get to cities. The cities then, of course, develop industries where you convert those into finished products. Those finished products get exported out to other cities, so on and so forth. And there's also express rails. And I always kind of set myself up with a little bit of a challenge in this game to actually get the express rail system to work properly. Because in this game, it is extraordinarily difficult to actually manage to get express trains going correctly. Express trains are the passengers and the mail going from city to city. But the issue with that is, unlike freight, you actually get paid more when the trains get to their final destination in a quick manner. Ah, pause worked that this time. Perfect. And I'm just going to go ahead and turn off those annoying voices and the competitors, because they chime in constantly and they just get more and more annoying throughout the game. So yeah, so Prague here, as you can see, what is that? Meat. What kind of meat is that? In the American one, it's... oh no, that's bakery. Oh, they added bread. Very cool. So each city always starts in Pilsen, the home of the Pilsen technique for beer manufacturing. This is meat. So sausages. Well, to be fair, I am playing as the Czech Republic, not Germany. But yes, Big Red. Indeed, I do enjoy the post-Soviet area of the world. And then all around here, you can actually see that there's various farms and the like. So there's pigs. I don't even know what this is. Potatoes, I'm assuming? Vegetables. Okay, well, yeah, potatoes. And different cities at different ages of development need different supplies. So in the end, you're basically just trying to get as much of the needs of the city supplied so that it continues to grow. So right now, Prague, it does not need wool yet, but it does need pastries, sausages, wood, vegetables, pigs, and grain. If it gets 60% of those items, then the city will continue to grow. If it has less than that, it will not grow. And passengers and mail, of course, are trying to go between the cities. Bayerth, okay. Hey, they have Dresden. I love Dresden. Do they have the chapel? They do not have the chapel. Well, it's 1850. I don't think it was built yet. But Dresden was really awesome. They actually lost one of their like World Heritage type of sites in World War II, and they actually kept the rubble in the middle of the town. And then after like 50 years after the war, they rebuilt it using a lot of the same rubble that was in the original building, which was just really cool to look at. But that's enough talking. Let me at least get the basics set up here. So I'm just going to go... oh, terminal station. That's new. Big warehouse. Wow, they added a lot of stuff. All right. Is this... how many tracks is this? It's a 2-tracker? Okay. Yeah, I'm going to start with this because the signaling control is extremely handy. But this one only comes with 2 terminals, it looks like, compared to the previous version that came with 4. So I'm going to go ahead and get that down right here. So, Prague was pastries, was it not? Very good. And Pilsen should be beer, because, yeah, I'm a little offended that Pilsen's not actually a beer-producing city, because, like I said, the Pilsen technique, which almost all modern beers are made with, was actually invented in Pilsen. And I think it's inexcusable that it's anything but a beer-producing city. But no one asked my opinion, so I'll just keep it to myself. So yeah, obviously, before you can build any trains, you need to get at least a couple of stations down. And my personal theory is to try to keep one dedicated for passenger traffic and one dedicated for freight whenever possible. So this one, I'm going to connect to line 2. And you do have to be very strategic with which lines you use because, for example, if I put this on line 1 and I need to expand to Germany later, then if it's leaving from track 2, I actually have to build like a bridge or a tunnel under track 1 to be able to get to this side and open up this part of the world. So it can get complex pretty darn quickly, to be completely honest. So, got that down. Okay, I'm going to leave track, this other track empty for the time being and just set up a parallel line that will accompany the first most of the way down. And then set it up with where's the signalings? There it is, signals. So I'm going to set this up as a one-way system so that the trains can actually pass each other, because obviously 2 trains existing in the same spot at the same time usually is a recipe for disaster. Then you have the option to throw down the train. And I'm going to put this one as freight only, with the only train I have available to me for the time being. And I'm also going to put down another train going from Prague to Pilsen, just for passenger and mail, which will be the express line. But yeah, I agree with you, Big Red. I am a huge European history fan myself. Do you have a particular region and or period of history that appeals to you most, out of curiosity? And you know what? In honor of my only fan, I'm going to call this the Big Red Line. I hope you don't take offense to that. Alright, so I'm just going to get this unpaused so we can see what this looks like. But basically, this train gets loaded up with the respective cargo before it gets shipped off on the one-way line, heading out to Prague, and the passenger train is doing the same in reverse. And obviously the passenger train is faster because people weigh less than cargo. I guess that does depend on what kind of cargo you're talking about, but or people you're talking about as well, to be honest. But alright, so I'm going to put down a supply tower right here in the middle. This is basically a refueling station, so as the trains run out of coal or water or whatever, they will actually be able to stop there in transit to load up on that. And the other thing I'm forgetting is I need to set up the stations to have maintenance shed, because as these trains progress, their quality goes down, which increases the chances for breakdowns, and obviously if it breaks down, that's not good. Alright, so I got that all set up. And let's just see these trains in action. There is a... Darn, I forgot how to do it. But there is an option where you can actually ride along with a train that I like to do on occasion, just because it's fun. But I'm a little offended that Prague is not geographically correct. Prague is actually split in the middle by the Vltava River. And in this case, it's actually well off of the river, which I find slightly annoying. But I can live with that, no problem. Alright, so I got passengers, and I've got meat, and I've got everything else moving around. What else does it need? Prague needs vegetables, and grain, and wood. In terms of what's available to it... Alright, Pilsen needs pigs, and it will also need vegetables. How about wood? Is there any wood in the... Grain is out here. That's a bit of a long haul, but I can make that work if necessary. Oh, no, there's grain here too. That's a lot better. But I don't see wood, which is a little annoying because, I mean, look at all of these trees. You're telling me none of these trees can actually be cut down for a wooden resource? Like, what kind of... I think Prague's being too picky in regards to what kind of trees it will actually accept for construction purposes. Alright, so I'm going to give up on wood for the time being. It looks like that's going to be... okay, this looks like the nearest wood all the way up here in Dresden, which is annoying. Okay, so can I get both in a normal train station? No, it's just too small. So it'd have to be a large train station to be able to do that. But that's 200,000 when 200,000 marks when 40,000 is good enough for 2 small train stations. So yeah, I'm going to just go ahead and do 2 small stations. It's slightly inefficient, but it does open up a few options. So Prague does not need pigs. So I'm going to send this one out along the outside loop, just so that it doesn't start causing problems for Sickert Preserve to get the vegetables out from there. And I saved track 2 for cargo purposes. And I'm going to go ahead and get this looped out. As well. And I need a crossover point here. I'll put one in the opposite direction as well, even though I'm probably not ever going to use it. So this will be one way in this direction. And one way in that direction. And if that's going to be one way, I'm going to need to go on ahead and loop this over if it will let me. It will not. So yeah, actually I am going to be using that, even though I thought I wasn't going to. Brings me memories of your communist empire. Well, you know, potatoes make vodka, so in the end of the day, I don't think any communist regime will be able to be a successful enterprise without good vodka running back and forth between the cities. So I don't need to double this line, because if the only city that needs pigs is Pilsen, This one is going to be able to hop over and take this line back to Pilsen, and I don't need to worry about 2 trains trying to occupy this part of the line at one time, so that should work out quite well. There probably is going to be a more efficient way for me to do this. Yeah, I could probably link this up so it could actually get pigs and potatoes on the same train. You know what? Actually, I am going to do that. I was going to say I was going to go back and visit that idea later, but... Perfect. Alright. So I'm going to set up a new train going from the pig farm to the potato farm to Pilsen and back. And I'm going to put this one on manual. So at the farm, you're picking up 4 pigs and then 4 potatoes. Then you get to Pilsen and you leave with nothing. So that should be reasonably efficient, I do believe. Add the only train I actually have available. Oh, actually, Big Red. This is from the same developer that does Tropico. This is their other main game for the time being. So it's actually kind of cool that I enjoy both of these games, because I started to play them without knowing that, and then when I was checking to see if they allow for live streamers to actually post their content, I realized it was literally the same company. And I was like, wow, that's a fun little fact. So I'm already screwing up. Actually, no, I think I can salvage this without too much difficulty. Yeah, that works. I'm definitely over investing in rails. I could do this with a lot less infrastructure, but in the end of the day, getting it set up now where I don't really have the capacity issues will just save me a lot of stress and headaches later when I do actually need this many trains running back and forth between the 2 cities. Alright, so now I can go ahead and get this train down to get the potatoes into Prague, and this is going to be bringing in a full line of 8 potatoes, but since it has further to go, that should be fine, because Prague will be able to keep up in terms of the demand in comparison to the supply that I'm able to provide it, because it's 1850 and these trains are pretty darn slow. Alright, so I'm just going to unpause and see if my freight trains are working properly. Alright, it's got the 4 pigs heading into town. And full load of 8 potatoes heading out. Oh, I completely forgot to look at this. Alright, 28 vegetables by 1852. That won't be hard. Connect 14 stations with the network. Transport 884,000 packages. Connect Prague to Hanover. Okay, those are good enough to start with. So he's being responsible and waiting at the signal, but he's waiting a little bit too long as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, so the next signal isn't all the way until here. So I'm going to go ahead and add another signal here. That might be too close. Yeah, I'll add it here. Just to allow the train to actually be able to progress a little bit sooner than waiting for that train to make it all the way down to the other end before it feels safe enough to go and pick up the vegetables. Good. The trains still automatically turn around. That's fantastic. I was worried that might change that. And you should be going right through here without stopping. On your way to Prague. Yeah, off it goes. That's very good. And then once this one gets to Pilsen, it should unload and then just immediately turn around and head back in the other direction. So this, I would like to get this train actually onto track 2. Because this is a very slow train in comparison to my express train, which obviously is moving at a lot better speed. You can just see it right here. Okay, well, visually it doesn't look too much different. Oh, well, that's why, because it was slowing down for the supply tower. I was like, wow, actually, that train does not look to be going so much faster. Oh, they updated the music. It's got a kind of very nice German... I don't know what you would call this music, but yeah, definitely different. Alright, so this one's getting into Prague. And this should automatically turn around and head back in the other direction. And if this works, I'll be able to go and progress with my expansion. Yeah, that's working out well, actually. And this is the freight train coming back. Yeah, so manage this train. Well, manage the line, actually. So I want this one to be using track 2 exclusively. So once you're in Prague, it doesn't give me the choice. That's annoying. Yeah, alright, I'll just switch it over to use that second set of lines. So these first 2 would be dedicated express lines. Yeah, alright, that should work. Right now it doesn't matter since there's only 2 trains on that line anyway. But as soon as I start throwing more trains down, it's going to get impossible for express trains to be able to avoid getting stuck behind a freight train. Alright, so Prague, you're not going to get wood. Don't even bother asking for it. Grain is important though because it's a pastry town and you cannot make pastries without grain. So I'm going to go on ahead and get a small train station down over here to get that grain moving. And bridges are insanely expensive. Alright, so I got this one coming in on track 3. So I'll just keep it there. Yeah, look at that. Well, that's a very inefficient bridge. I mean, my lord, it's half of this line as a bridge. That seems way too excessive. Yeah, I cut the price in half already, so that is definitely advantageous solution. Well, I might as well just leave that automatic for now. Buy another train. So that will get the grain coming into the city. And it's almost up to the point where it's going to be demanding wool. So let's plan ahead. Wool is available here. So I think that's going to be my next stop. I've only ever seen one derailment, and I think it was more of a computer glitch than an actual crash. What typically will happen is the trains will stop literally inches from each other, and they'll just be frozen in place. And you would basically have to fix the log jam before it escalates into a complete frozen system. Which happens actually extremely easy. I actually have had to... Yeah, random breakdown already. Fantastic. I've had to force a solution multiple times because of trains getting stuck looking at each other in a extremely inefficient... Oh, I built way too big of a train station. Alright, that's a waste. I'll get a partial refund, but not a full refund. 100,000 refund. How much does it cost? Oh no, I got a full refund. I think maybe it has like a time. Like, maybe if you leave it there too long, then it starts decreasing how much of a refund they'll give you. So that might be a possibility, because I don't believe it's usually a 100% refund. And I do not have enough money to get this connected, so I'll just have to wait for some of my trains to make deliveries. That train's not making any deliveries for the moment. What are you doing here? Okay, you're getting loaded up for another trip over to Prague. Very good. And Pilsen's already unable to do 8. Because there is a maximum capacity in this game, so Pilsen will not take more than it can actually use. Which is an annoyance. Okay, research. Increases the number of passengers. That sounds like a great first use. Because already I am not having full lines of passengers going between these two cities. So hopefully an extra 8% might fill up an extra car or two. Alright, that's my Pilsen train. And you should be pulling up to this station here and waiting for the Pilsen train to get off the track. Ah, that's it. I knew that the button was in here somewhere. So perfect, the train is actually waiting. So as soon as this, yeah, alright, it made the switch over, so it's completely unloaded. And he's off to get more potatoes and pigs. And then I am free to progress on my way to Prague. I've been to Pilsen quite a few times, and it does not look like this. Yeah, they took the German DLC a little bit too far, because that's definitely a little bit more German looking than the real Pilsen. And the best part about riding along, you actually control the whistle. I know it's a stupid joy, but it's a joy all the same. And rather than riding along on this train, I probably should be out there building stuff and expanding my network. But this is just too pretty. I mean, graphically it could be a little bit better, but I just enjoy this. Simple pleasures, you know? Alright, so I'm just getting up to my supply tower. And I am stopping, so I must be running low on something. Will it show me loading up? Yeah, oh. Ooh, that looks ugly. I don't know what that is. I imagine that has to be water. And it's dumping it on that guy's head, I'm guessing? Sir, if you need to take a shower, you might want to do that at home. Ah! Hello! Wait, you only have 2 cars? Hang on. Alright, I'm leaving this. Why do you only have 2 cars? Wow, Pilsen's down to only wanting 2 bread now. That is not enough to make this trip worth it. Okay, well, that was fun, but it seems like things are going wrong. Increases productivity of the... Put the train whistle on the train. Well, that's what I was saying yesterday. Like, that legit is the same whistle, isn't it? Like, I mean, that is 100% the train whistle from the ship whistle from Tropico being used. Never mind. But yeah, that was irritating me the entire episode. I was just like, that is the same freaking whistles that they're using on this game. Alright, so grain is still pouring in with a full... missing equipment. Oh, there's no supply tower on this side of Pilsen. That is a mistake. So I'll go ahead and just put that right in front of him, so hopefully he can fill up right away. Because if they do run out of water or whatever it is that they actually get loaded up, it just moves at an extraordinarily slow pace. So I think I should have enough money now that I can get this grain into my system. So I want to head out this way so I can loop it around and merge directly onto that line, because that would be one way in this direction. But I also need to make sure that this gets connected up for the return trip. So what's the earliest that will let... Okay, it will let that happen here. And that change up my signaling. No, that's working correctly here, so fantastic. That means I'll go ahead and put down a new train to get this connected to Pilsen, so that Pilsen is going to get its supply of grain easily enough. And Pilsen is still growing, so it is managing to get most of its basic needs covered. Pigs grain is going to be coming in with the next line, so it's got everything but the wood in being supplied to it. And that leaves the wool. And what would be the easiest way to get the wool? Probably pumping it in through the back end here would be the best way to go about that. So, does Prague need wool yet? 29,000, so yeah, it does need wool. And you're getting wool. Where are you getting the wool from? Oh, so you are actually getting it from that... I thought that would be a little bit too far for overland transportation. If one train track building a 1850 was as fast as a click of a mouse and didn't... That's a very fair point. They definitely were not being able to expand and alter their lines this quickly back in the real world. And just don't have enough money. I'm going to need 80 for that. So that should be a couple of deliveries. And that should get me up to snuff. And you are going with literally nothing. Voigt's cattle. Wait, I just noticed this. They're calling this a cattle ranch at the pig farm. Kalypso has a little bit of an issue. They get a little bit lazy with their DLCs. They'll try to customize the resources, but then they'll forget these little nitty gritty details where you have the cattle farm at the pig ranch. But frankly, whenever I see them, it just makes me laugh a little bit. Definitely nothing to be taken too seriously. So I need another delivery or two so I can hook up the sheep's wool to my system to get this transported into Pilsen and Prague, because Pilsen's just on the... Nope, it has crossed the threshold. Pilsen wants sheep wool now. But yeah, in terms of lazy DLC, the worst offender was definitely the British DLC. They basically had these cowboys walking around everywhere. Not walking around, but they had cowboy ranch. So they were wearing the typical 10-gallon hat, talking with Texas accents in middle of, Wales in the United Kingdom. It's just like, all right, you have a nice idea, but you need to do more than just change the map. And random breakdown, those are pretty much unavoidable. But hopefully he'll be able to pick up a load of potatoes, and he'll be off to Pilsen to get those delivered. It seems like Pilsen stopped growing. I'm guessing it's because of the lack of sheep's wool. And it still doesn't have grain. Where is my grains? My grain train. Grain train. Alright, this is my Pilsen grain train. So this must be the first delivery getting into the city now. But I don't know why you're on this line. Because when you're coming in from this farm, you should actually only have access... I never set this up as a one-way, didn't I? So I actually don't want you to be able to use this. Alright, so looks like if I program that... Yeah, that will do it. I just didn't have that as one-way, marked as one-way anymore. Fair enough. So that should just be a one-time issue. And as soon as you drop that off, you should depart back out on the right line. Well, you have a good point on that one, Big Red. In terms of failed concepts, I can never say this one right. Bethesda has kind of earned their reputation. It's a shame, though, because I do love the Fallout franchise, but yeah, that's tough to say sometimes anymore. Alright, 47, so I am getting money in. It's just it seems to be a little bit slower than I would like it to. And that's not going to be enough to get this connected. But I'll at least be able to get it to here. So that works. And then when I get another 10 or 15,000, I'll be able to go and finish that connection. So I can get that sheep's wool delivered into Pilsen and Prague. And I think the next goal I have is going to be to connect this down to Budweiser, home of Budweiser, the real Budweiser, not the American Budweiser. They actually have been they've been brewing a beer in Budweiser for a long time called Budvar, and that would translate to Budweiser if you Americanize the spelling. However, the family that started Budweiser moved to the U.S. and started a beer and took the same name. But a few years ago, they actually had a lawsuit against the original Budvar company, suing for the trademark because Budvar started to send their beer for sale in the United States, and the American Budweiser, despite being like 150 years younger, won that lawsuit because they had more money to spend. So Budweiser officially and legally stole their name from Budvar in the Czech Republic, just because they had more money to waste. But the Czechs are still a little sore about that to this day, because that's only been about 10 or 15 years since that's happened. I don't think I'm going to have enough for the train, but I might as well get the rail system started. So this is going to be manual. I want you to load up with sheep's wool. Drop off half at Pilsen and the other half at Prague. How much are my trains going for? 14,000? Oh, hey, I just have enough. I am a bit of a beer nut. I fully admit that. um, the Czech Republic, they actually have over 100 types of beer, and they consume more beer per capita than any other country in the world. And when I was there, it was my goal to taste every one of those beers. And I got pretty close. I'm probably had about 75 different beer glasses, all from different companies from around the country. And it was a point of personal pride, in all honesty. Perfect. So the trains are waiting successfully. Yeah, I'm falling behind on my research. It should be... Alright, I'll wait for one more month so I can unlock the faster freight train. England connected to the mainland. Really? Oh, telegraph cable. I was thinking to myself, like, I know they have the Eurostar tunnel that connects France and England, but I didn't think they had that back in 1850. But telegraph line, that I can understand. Okay, so Pilsen's getting their grain, and crap. I built this little diversion here too far down the line so that it was missing the supply tower. So I just wasted like $10,000 to move it from here to here. Okay, now it's being serviced, and yeah, it's waiting patiently. And is this my... No. Why are you waiting for Voigt cattle? It just literally left. Alright, so it's just too long of a break here without another stop. So if I put another signal down on this side, that means that the train should be able to get up to here successfully without having to wait. Okay, perfect. And you are getting up to the supply tower, so that should fix your speed problem. And I can unlock the better freight train. How much money do I have? 45,000? Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and get at this right now. Manage the train and upgrade to this one. So, Limit is a little bit faster of a train, but it has traction power of 42%. The new one has a traction power of 73%, which means that it can handle a heavier load, tighter turns, steeper inclines or declines, and so on and so forth. So for 1,273, I can upgrade all of my freight trains to that. That is my express train. Oh, this is my brand new wool train. Pilsen in Prague is, yeah, that one's moving the pastries and the meat. So this is actually a line I don't actually use, so I can just delete that one. I did this one already. Yep. Okay. So perfect. Sticklet preserve. That's freight. Yep. This is my grain line to Prague. Voigt cattle. This is my pig cattle. One. And Pilsen to nothing. That should be the grain line, but it seems to be broken at the moment. And Big Red, that's my express line. Perfect. So I've got a broken train. Pilsen to nowhere. What do you mean nowhere? Did I somehow rename this farm? I must have somehow deleted the name of the farm. No, I actually don't have the ability to edit it. This one is literally just an unnamed farm. I wonder if it's even a farm. Maybe it's just grain in the middle of nowhere. My train is going out there and farming it themselves. Wild grain. Hey, why not? Okay, so I think I should have enough to go on ahead and get this one down. Ratisbon. I am not familiar with Ratisbon. I'm guessing it's either German or Austrian. Linz, Salzburg. Okay, so this is Austria here. So yeah, this must be like the southeast tip of Germany, I'm guessing. And how much is it going to take to get this across the river? 70,000. All right, there's got to be a cheaper way to do that bridge. 42,000. Whew. Yeah, bridges are hella expensive. These ones seem to be waiting too long as well. I don't like that. So I'll go ahead and put down a stop. That's too close. Yeah, this should be good. Because if you don't give enough room behind the stop before it interferes with... yeah, I'll put it there. Then it will actually block traffic from this way, and you can actually get into a situation where both trains are completely locked in place and unable to pass each other. Sadly, I know how to fail at this game better than I know how to succeed at this game. Alright, so it's doing its thing. Perfect. Yeah, I believe you're right. 1860, I do believe, was the outbreak. But this game actually does go to 1930, so I'm really curious how they deal with the 1910s and early 1930s. Because so far, basically, this concept of moving resources back and forth between the city... someone sabotaged my passenger business. Fantastic. But, yeah, this game basically is the same concept throughout the whole thing. You just get more higher level manufactured goods over and over and over. But I think it would be really awesome if they just surprised you with a 150 or a 180. And then, like, 1910, your new job is to transport the troops to the French border or something. I think that would be a really cool idea, but I don't think they've talked about that, and I think I would have heard of it by now if that's what they did. But frankly, I'm just surprised they were able to make this work, because Germany as a modern state didn't even exist in 1850. Back in 1850, it was just individual Germanic kingdoms, more or less. So you had Prussia, you had the Saxons, and everything of that sort. So, unified Germany wasn't even a thing when this game is taking place. Alright, 94,000. That should be enough so I can get this connected. I think they've increased the cost of tracks in this game. Yeah, because for 100,000, I think I was able to go a lot further than this. Oh, go figure. And just like Tropico, planning routes and rails can be extremely tedious. Because it will only work in that one specific location. Okay, 40, 70, 94. Good enough. I'll put that down for now, and I'll finish it up after a couple of more deliveries. Northern Territories in America won because they had a better railroad network. Yeah, that's a good chunk of it, really, plus a manufacturing base. The southern states were just way too agricultural focused, and when you are basically going up against a more populated and a more industrial country, selling cotton is not really going to be what turns the war in your favor. Okay, so I've got myself crossing down the entire chunk of the Czech Republic down to Germany. And Austria is just waiting for me with... Is this salt, I'm assuming? Yeah, salt. That makes sense. Because, yeah, Salzburg is right here. Salz is German for salts, if I remember correctly. So this translates to salt town for the most part. So that's a quite historically accurate place to have a salt mine. I don't know if you would call it a salt mine, but I'll just call it a salt mine for the ease of convenience. Perfect. And I'll go on ahead and delete that and replace it with this one. Okay, so as soon as I get the money, I'll finish that one off. Oh, I do have a tendency to leave myself in pause and not know it. So I'll be like waiting for trains to go and waiting for money to come in, and they just don't move, and I'm confused and angry, and then I realize I'm on pause. So that happens more often than I would care to admit. So yeah, these are starting to get a little bit backed up here in Pilsen. And Prague has stopped growing. Oh, wow. Okay, so it wants sauerkraut and Hefeweizen before it will be able to grow further. Okay, so I haven't even seen sauerkraut or Hefeweizen on the map. So I do not know where I can get them. I'm assuming those have to be manufactured goods, so it probably come from a city. But everyone's just making pastries. Where can I get Hefeweizen? Okay, it must not be a manufactured good. Can I find some sauerkraut? I mean, what is it? Is there a sauerkraut farm around here somewhere? Like, because I'm pretty sure that's not how you make sauerkraut. Berlin. Yeah, I don't see any sauerkraut or Hefeweizen. So it may just be that those are manufactured goods that the cities are not large enough to actually make yet. Because as you get bigger, you have access to different buildings. I wonder if there's a way I could find that out. Not until I hit 400,000. That's a shame. So I guess Prague just won't be able to grow until a city gets large enough to actually have enough population to produce Hefeweizen. But that's just a theory at this point. A game theory. Ha ha ha. Sorry. So I got 100 more, so I'm going to go ahead and unlock the caboose, even though I think it's a little bit of a worthless upgrade. But that will at least let me get the express train, which is a faster train, into service. And that is valuable enough that I'm willing to waste it on a caboose. I'm glad this game does not have any revolutionaries or any rebels to ruin your communist empire, at least. Thank you, indeed. After how yesterday went, I agree with you full-heartedly on that. Although I think it was more the British and the Americans that gave me the hardest time. Pilsen cannot be reached. Oh, crap. I broke it again. Yeah, this is labeled as a one-way the entire way down. Okay. I need to put up a... Well, I finish that. And set this up for switching tracks. Yeah, that should work. You should be able to reach Pilsen now. You should be able to... There you go. Off you go. Just took you a little while to figure out what was going on. Either that or I was in pause. I'm not sure. That's also a possibility. So now I've got another city connected. Sadly, it's also a producer of bread. But there's a good chunk of people who want to get to Pilsen. And a okay number who want to get to Prague. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up as an express line to Pilsen. With the cheaper, faster train. It's not going to be a highly successful line. Yeah, just 5 cars for the time being. But hopefully as Pilsen grows, this will become more profitable. And let's see. I think Budweiser... Oh, hey, Prague grew. That should mean I can have access to a new factory. Is there Hefeweizen? Yes, there is Hefeweizen. Is there sauerkraut? That's sauerkraut, right? Yeah, I think that's pretty... Yeah. So that proves my theory. Yes, I need to actually get the cities large enough to be able to do that. There's no way I'm going to have enough money to actually build this factory myself, which is a shame because you can actually develop monopolies that way. But hopefully whoever does get this will set up a brewery. And then I need to find where I can get the nearest supply of, what are these? Hops. I should be able to guess that. So it looks like the nearest supply of hops is up in Poland, I guess. There's some here, but that's going to be hard to get to. But that could be a possibility as well. Or way out here. Yeah, actually that might work. I could have the hops sent up through here and pick up some sheep's wool, and I can connect that differently to Prague. An interesting fact I heard is that in all of the time America was a nation, it was in war for like 90% of that time. It was a nation, which tells you a lot about America. That's actually a very accurate fact, Big Red. We basically are professional warriors. We are Sparta. Forgive me, Big Red. Where are you from, out of curiosity? Yeah, money is a little bit more precious. I think they've rebalanced this a little. In the previous games I've played of this, I've been able to actually incur like huge amounts of profit with very little effort. But this time it does seem like the money is just not trickling in as quickly as I would like it to. Okay, so they're complaining that there's faster trains available now, so I suppose I might as well upgrade my Big Red line. Oh, wait. I don't have access to a faster train yet. Oh, it's another month before I actually can do that. Alright. So I'll unlock that shortly. The Racing Sisters. The Rensselaer. Oh, okay. From the way you were talking, I figured you were from outside of the U.S. I'm originally out of Pennsylvania, but I'm in Georgia now. But that's more for work than anything else. But yeah, Georgia's fine. Yeah, so I'm starting to get enough money in here that I think I better go on ahead and get Budweiser set up here. $27,000. That might be enough money to get this connected. I am not sure. Nope, just shy. So I need to wait until it gets up to 35. What are you waiting for? Waiting for Ratisbon Pilsen. That's my new express line. And it's all the way back here, so there's really no reason why that train is waiting. So I'm just going to have to go down here and pop down some stop signals, so that this train doesn't get that degree of priority over everything else I have in my network. So with those signals down, will you move? Still not moving. Well, aren't you annoying? Yeah, because he's passing a stop signal here. He's stopping a stop signal here. And I'm falling behind on the tech, too. Yeah, they've definitely rebalanced this. The AI is actually clobbering me. So, alright. Well, I'm beating this guy up here. He's only got 3 cities. Looks like the French border person's got 4. And the Bavarian one's got about 5. Okay, fair enough. Increases the power of your locomotives by 5 for 11,000. For 11,000, I'll take it. Georgia and Pennsylvania, cool stuff. No, not really, actually. I'm glad I left Pennsylvania. I'm originally from a place that gets about like 200 inches of snow last year. It was insane, and I was down here in Georgia for it, so I was just watching the news and all my friends on Facebook complaining about it. I got a nice little laugh out of it. But Georgia, no, it doesn't really have that much cool things around. Savannah's nice. It's kind of historic, but outside of that, there's not much special down here. I mean, I don't dislike it. It's certainly nice enough, but yeah, I wouldn't really say it's such an exciting option. Alright, so these people pay me 93,000 Deutschmarks to connect with them, but this guy is in the way. And it would cost me 40,000 just to put down a station. And I could probably avoid the tunnel, but roughly speaking, I'm looking at 182,000 just to get the track there to connect to it. And I've already got a more easily accessible source of sheep wool over here in my network already. So I'm just going to go on ahead and tell them, never mind. I do not need their money enough to shift all my priorities over to get their wool when I've got my own wool in easy enough range for me to be able to get it. Alright, 38,000, perfect. Georgians also do not know how to drive in rain, so I 100% understand what you mean by that. It always drives me a touch crazy. I usually have to leave for work like an extra 15 minutes early when it's raining, just because everyone's crawling in regards to their speed. So passengers and mail only, and this is going to be my brand new express train, which I might as well go on ahead and upgrade Big Red as well. To the stronger, faster train. Well, actually, it's not stronger. It's, to be honest, considerably weaker. But still, for this purpose, it's well suited. And I should have one more express train coming down here. Random breakdown. And oddly enough, if I switch out the track, or switch out the train, that does not fix the breakdown. So, I don't know what that breakdown is, but even if you switch out the train that you would assume is broken, it doesn't do squat. Perfect, so he's going in to get that. Prague's still taking full loads of potatoes, so that's great. They haven't cut down their... And no one's built that brewery yet. Goodness, they're taking a long time to be able to do that. So I think my next goal is to get this one connected for an express. And the pig farm is here. So yeah, I'm going to make this actually my goal for the moment. So I'm going to double track this one into Budweiser. And of course get these synced up with one-way train signals. And I'll set up a new line between the fake cattle ranch with the pigs to get those into Budweiser so that they can get turned into lovely, delicious sausages. And boots, because apparently the Czechs make leather boots out of pigskins. I did not know that. I lived there for 5 years, never picked up on that. But fair enough. This game thinks that that's what they do, so. Okay. So he did not pick up any pigs, but he's going into Budweiser anyway. Why? That does not make a lot of sense. So I will be worried about that until I figure out what the reason is. Okay, and Pilsen is also meat. Is this pastry? Yeah, this is pastry. So I could set up a second line as well. This is a pretty long line, but I could set this up as an automatic possibly, so that passengers and bread could make it to Budweiser. But then the sausage is going to fill it up, so there's going to be no chance for an express train to go back to Germany with passengers. Unless I go through Passau first. Oh, Passau is also meat. Well, I could ban meat on the return trip and then hook this one up so they can get its steak from this location. I think that would be a better way to do it, to be honest. So maybe I'll get this connected first. So if I put a train station down here, I'll make it a full-size train station. Is this just a one-tracker? Yeah, it's just a one-tracker. I might want to upgrade this. 60,000. Okay, I'll save up for that. Problems in Prague. Okay, great. He sabotaged Prague again for its tourism. Yeah, I did, lived 5 years in the Czech Republic, and then I moved to Toronto, and I did another 5 years in Toronto, before I came back to the U.S. and ended up in Georgia. But Georgia was more of an accident. I just basically was applying to jobs coast to coast, and the job that offered me the position here was the one that offered the most. So I just went to the highest bidder, and it just so happened to be in Georgia. Okay, so I'm going to unlock this. That should cut down on my maintenance time, which would be ideal. And I'm almost at 60,000, so I can get this upgraded. Oh, wow. Someone's already got down 1,000 meters, or 1,000 miles. Yeah, why would it be kilometers in Germany, right? So obviously the Prague paper is very concerned about how many miles this my competitor has in track laid down. Definitely a little bit lazier of a DLC than I was expecting, considering the fact it's a German developer. But regardless, it's a fun game, and I won't besmirch them for taking a couple of shortcuts. Budweiser to Pilsen. Wow, there's just not enough to make this worth it. I'm going to have to switch this over to an automatic line. Two rails is just not worth it. I will lose some speed, because if you do a mixed train, obviously the freight is going to make it go slower than if it's just passengers alone. But the speed bonus for 2 cars of express traffic is just... and this is only 4 as well. No suitable freight. Wait. What do you mean there's no suitable freight at the pig farm to go to the slaughterhouse? Yeah, it's a sausage maker. You need pigs. So why are you talking about that there's no suitable cargo? Oh, because I put it on Express. Yeah, so passengers and mail from the pig farm were in short supply. So that would explain why this train's just been going back and forth for 15 minutes with literally no profit made. Fantastic. They're still maintaining, yeah, I'll keep this one on freight only for the time being. Another random breakdown. Hey, boy. And no one's built anything in Pilsen yet, and no one's built anything in Prague yet either. Jeez. These private companies don't seem too eager to make a profit. But I do have enough money to expand this, so that gets me an additional track, which I can then use to connect with this one here. I don't want too tight of a turn, because that's going to slow down the speed that my trains can get there. And if this ends up being a profitable express line, that would be a shame. Plop down in places that make no sense whatsoever. Yeah, that's always a issue with this game. There's a few logical ones, like I said, Salzburg down here with salt. You know, that makes sense. But the #1 beer drinking country in the world apparently does not have access to a single source of hops, which I find incredibly inconsistent with reality. And Czech beer is fantastic. It's probably one of the things I miss most about my time over there. And the pastries are pretty good too. Alright, so yeah, I'm gonna have to pop this over to automatic as well. The number of people going back and forth between Pilsen's just not worth it. And Passau has grown, which means it needs what? Nothing much. Doesn't need anything special. It would like some vegetables though. Yeah, that looks probably to be as good as I'm going to be able to make it. So I'm going to just save time and not even put this down as an express line, because these are smaller cities, and I just don't think there's going to be enough there to make it work. So I'm going to go with... no, I'm going to go with this one. Yeah, and it's loading up completely with freight. So yeah, the number of passengers must not be that high. Is this still the salt mine? Or the wool mine? Not the wool mine. The sheep farm, I should say. But yeah, that's exactly what it is. And Lynn's is down here. But I may as well... I am going to need to put a supply tower down here before I forget about it. Train operator, air traffic control operator in real life. Let me tell you, that job will not last a day. Yeah, I agree with you, because as you can see, if real lives depended on me, they would be horrified by the fact that I can't seem to remember to put a freaking supply tower down on any of my lines, because that's like the 4th train in a row that's reminded me because it ran out of supplies. But most of these trains are carrying at pretty decent capacity for the time being. 9,000 marks, that's not much at all. I don't know. Yeah, usually I didn't see how big of a train that was. Oh, hey. Someone put down a Hefeweizen factory. That is good. That means I can get some Hefeweizen moving into Prague. If I can just find a way to get some hops into the system. So yeah, if I... out of curiosity, if I do a large train... ooh, that would work. So I could put a large train station here and get the hops just within my area of control so that I could get those up into the system without too much difficulty. That would work. And what is this here? Peat. I don't even know what peat is, actually. Don't they make golf courses out of that? I don't know if that's going to be such a high demand item. So 7% extra money from mail, I'll do that. And that does get me access to some additional trains over here, which would be valuable. Reduces maintenance. And let's see, the Tyson 10-wheeler. That could be good enough to switch over for my Limette. So for those automatic lines that are going to be picking up passengers, the train could be of use. So I have to keep that in mind. Wow. He's kicking my butt. He's already down to Innsbruck. München. Ooh, that reminds me. Is there Neuschwanstein? Neuschwanstein? It should be around here. It's going to be on the Alps, if anything. I don't remember the exact location for it. But it is on the outskirts of Munich. No, it doesn't look like they've got it programmed, which is a shame. Neuschwanstein is awesome. It's actually what the Disney castle was based on. It was created by a guy named Mad King Ludwig, complete psychopath, and he had a small castle on a mountain. Then he decided he wanted a bigger castle on the mountain, and spent his whole life just building this thing. How long does 1 year or era last in the game? Because it seems like forever you've been from 1850 to 1851. Yeah, it is a pretty slow-moving game. I mean, you can see the days click by here. But what is that, 30 seconds, 45 seconds per day? Assuming I don't pause, which I have a tendency to do a little bit too often, to be fair. But yeah, it's definitely not a high-speed environment. But frankly, that's not a bad thing because it could this game can go so wrong so quickly that keeping a close eye on everything as you do it is pretty much the only way you can actually survive. So I'll get the grain heading in, and I'm going to put this on manual for the sole purpose that I do not want it to leave with less than 5 cars, because if this grain is only going to this city, there is no reason why I should allow it to. There's no reason why I need to keep those tracks clear. So that train can sit there all day for all I care until it actually gets enough to make that trip worth it. And then I got Lynn's here. And I would like to save money and utilize that bridge. Yeah, I got enough money, so I might as well just go ahead and get this connected right now. Don't have enough money for the train. Okay, well, you know, there we go. Just needed to wait a second. Oh, and this one is actually going to be a proper mixed train. So I got 4 passengers, 3 pastries, and 1 thing of mail heading in. So that is good. And I am going to put this one as the priority. So the grain train will stop and give priority to the passenger train. And it's going to need a supply tower as soon as I have enough money for it. And I'll put that on the other side of the track just so that both lines can share the same supply tower. That would save me $30,000. You seem very well informed on your European history and facts. Yeah, I'm definitely a bit of a history nut. I'm not too ashamed to admit that. No, I can do that better. Nope, just a little bit too close. There we go. That way the train can go into whichever track is open and not have to completely be frozen in place. Reduces maintenance requirements by 10%. I'll go ahead and unlock that because the number of trains I have breaking down at the moment is just a little bit higher than I would like it to be. And someone already got the new Resler. Okay. That is unfortunate. Breakdown, bad condition. That means I forgot a maintenance shed somewhere. Yep. So build the maintenance shed. Again, definitely don't want me to be a real aircraft traffic control person, because everyone will die. No question about it. Everyone will be dead. Oh, and here are the hops. So if Pilsen is here, what would be easier? Me building that really large train station and going through the wheat farm to Pilsen? or building out here close to Vienna and sending it up through Budweiser. So Vienna to Budweiser, and then through all of this. Yeah, I'm thinking that the larger train station over here is going to be the better bet. But that does have to go over a bridge. Unless I bring it in on this side. I think that might be best, actually. The only time I have ever been to Europe is when I visited Paris, and I'm glad I visited a couple years back and not recently with all the riots taking place. Yeah, Paris is beautiful, but the national pastime of the French is, frankly, going on strikes and rioting. So you have to be very careful about when you go, because I was there during a garbage strike, I think, if I remember correctly, and the entire city just smelled like trash because it had been weeks. Oh boy, he's moving in on both my pigs and my potatoes. So he built a bridge right over my line, and he's got that set up as a dual track all the way to Bayreuth. I've never even heard of that city. Which is a shame, because that means 72 pigs. Alright, it's already a level 3 ranch by Vienna. 170. I'll pass on that for now. I might regret it, but it's just a little bit outside of my area of control, and I won't be able to get out there. Transportation fee by passenger. Alright. Yeah, I'll put down 30,000 for that. Let's see if I can win it. I won't go any higher. There we go. And I got 200 in the bank. So the money is starting to come in a little bit. Maybe I've hit a point where I'm starting to get to a capacity issue where the money isn't as slow, hopefully. So I'm going to go ahead and put a train station here, and I'll try to angle it in a way where I can get to Prague by avoiding 9%, 1% with a tunnel. Can't really afford a tunnel right now. What if I stick close to the... Yeah, if I follow the river, I might be able to avoid having to get a tunnel. Perfect. So I'll keep this connected all the way down. And for the time being, let's see, how much would it be just to keep it dual all the way down? Alright, it's going to be basically all of the money that I was just bragging about having. But it would be a little bit more efficient that way. So yeah, I'll go ahead and put that down. And then that way I can actually get this into my empire as well. It's a pastry to pastry, so there's going to be very little trade between the cities for now. But if I can at least get the passengers going, I will be happy about that. If you keep seeing this pop up here, these are employees that I can hire with different little bonuses. Usually I am buying a ton of them, but for the time being, I really just don't have a lot of money to burn for passenger personnel. So I'm holding off on it for the time. But that's only more or less because money does seem to be a little bit more precious in this version of the game than in the base game. Okay, so I got the cities connected, and of course I just need my little switch here for the traffic. And same thing down here. And actually, I should probably do the same thing here as well. So, with that in mind, I can actually get this to be one way in this direction and one way out in this direction. So this train heading up to get the wheat will be able to head down in this way and then back up in this direction and switch over into this line, and this line can be either direction. But I'll need a one-way marker here so that these trains won't overlap with each other. And then they'll get in and they have access to both of those lines. So that's perfect. And I'll leave this one automatic, but since there is really no goods to go be back and forth between these cities, I can pretty much guarantee that it's going to be a passenger line for the time being. As you build more and more rail lines, I lose track and it's getting complex for my simple brain to handle. It's not too bad yet. It will actually get much, much worse. Ooh, Salzburg's offering me 138,000 to connect it. I'm going to hop on that immediately. Because Salzburg has some pretty good growth potential. And yeah, it's only going to cost me 39,000 plus 100,000 for the train station, and 138,000 they gave me just to connect it. So that was basically a free connection. But I do need to build in an interchange now. Well, actually, I think it might even be easier if I just double track the line to here, and then I'll need to send this around the station and up this way. That will work. So I'll go ahead and lay that down. And then set this up so that the trains from Salzburg can go in either direction. And then out this way to Linz. Perfect. So let's see, Salzburg is pastry, Linz is pastry, so I would prefer them not to be sending their pastry into Passau. Train loading, please wait. I don't really see that message too often, so I'm confused. Locomotive slow due to missing equipment, which means it's missing a supply tower. Oh yeah, I talked about building a supply tower on this side of the bridge, and then I never did. So there we are. That should work, right? Yeah, there we go. So I can unlock a new train. I'll go for it. It would be good for my mixed lines at the minimum. So, Salzburg, where do your passengers want to go? Passau is number 1. Linz is number 3. So yeah, there is some potential here for express trains. So from Salzburg to Passau. I'm going to make this one passengers only for the time being. And Salzburg to Linz. I mean, there is no reason for me to mark that as passengers only for this mere fact of the matter that bread cities won't trade with bread cities for any reason. But that will be enough for me. But that does mean I'm going to have to build another supply tower up here because the train going to Linz from here will actually never meet this one that I just built. So there goes my wonderful idea. So if I make this one way in this direction, that would break the system. So that would be a bad idea. Oh, okay, not a problem, Big Red, but thank you again. I mean, you're literally my only fan, so I appreciate your attention. But good night and have a good one, and sleep well. So, now I just be talking to the other people who don't chat. So, if you are interested in chatting, feel free. I don't mind talking. I got a couple of others, but fantastic. Got the one way here. That will work well. And then one way in the opposite direction, of course. So, did I ever set up the... Yeah, I never set up the actual switch here. Glad I noticed that, otherwise the trains would actually not even be able to move back in the other direction. Alright. Trying to get my train of thought back here. Good, okay, so if they're heading down in this direction, yeah, I can't have it one way beyond this point because the train coming in from here will head back out in this way. I could probably put up a switch here, but that would probably not be worth it. And that is going to act as a signal, so yeah. I think this should work, but I could be surprised. So I'm just going to unpause this and give it a shot. I'm going to go for a ride-along on this one. Oh, I broke it. There we go. Yeah, I want to see this one. Very picturesque. I like it. Ooh. This has a very annoying whistle. I'll have to remember that. So for the express trains, no whistles. Okay, so it's holding up here because the grain train... Actually, why is it holding up here? Yeah, because this one won't interfere until we get to this point. So I'll add a new stop at the edge here. And that should be enough for this train to move again, I would say. Yes. So with that additional stop, I'm able to progress. As I pass my freight train. And yet he still gets the priority. And as soon as he clears this stop, that should free up my passenger train. Come on, turn green. Turn green. This is a little bit longer of a wait than I would like, so if it doesn't start up in a second, I'm going to have to add another stop on this system. Yeah, this is way too long. Yeah, so he might have stopped at the supply tower, possibly? Or is he going to have to wait until it's completely unloaded? Yeah, it's still waiting here. Wow. That is not as efficient as I would like it to be in the least. Alright, so... Alright, yeah, I'm definitely going to need to fix that. That's way too long. Nah, that's not really my area of control. And I don't feel like expanding that way just yet. So I may not have a choice but to build a second bridge here. How much would it be? 33,000. That's not awful. And if I delete that right here, should be able to get that connected straight on. So then if I need to get this signaled up now. If I put in a switch right before the bridge, if I can find a way to make that work. Yes, there's just enough room for me to be able to do that. So in that case, I should be able to mark the outbound as one way from here. Oh, well, that wouldn't really be that advantageous, actually. Because if I put this switch here, that will keep it one way for literally inches for the most part until it ends before the bridge. So I keep this open so that they can both go in either direction. This train is making the switch from here. So I guess it could be valuable. Alright. I'm getting myself confused here. Let's just see what this train does. So it stops at the supply tower. And he's off to Passau. So off he goes. Salzburg, that's fantastic. Yep, that's what I was afraid of. So now they're stuck. I was really kind of hoping that this one was going to switch over onto the right line, but it did not. So... Ooh. In Passau, could I just put you as line 2 specialized? Oh, no, line 1, sorry. So if I tell you to go to line 1 only, will that allow you to progress forward? Why are you waiting? Yeah, if you're trying to get to track 1... You should be able to do that now. Oh, wait. Ah, you're waiting for that train, not for this train. So you're not broken anymore. I just need to go and add a stop signal on this line, just for the trains to be able to change priorities a little bit easier. So that works better now. Yeah, that's what I wanted to see. Perfect. So now you can get unloaded and head back in the opposite direction. No suitable freight. Where is this at? This is my Pilsen Prague line. And in Pilsen, you're supposed to pick up freight. So there was no meat for you to pick up to take to Prague? Is that what you're telling me? Is Prague completely full on sausage? Yeah, Prague really could use sausage. Is Pilsen completely out of sausage? No, Pilsen is not completely out of sausage. So what the heck are you telling me that there's no suitable freight? There's sausage. Sausage was a suitable freight. So you're trying to get from Pilsen to Prague. Prague needs sausage. Pilsen has sausage. Alright, I'm just going to switch this over to automatic. I think that might have just been a game glitch, I would hope, at the minimum. But, could be wrong. So we'll just see what happens once it gets to this point. And my express train going back to Koetzener is seeming to be doing pretty decently for the time being. So that's good to see. And what's going on here? Train loading, please wait. Fine, that's not a problem. Waiting for Topper State and... Okay. So I don't have this switched up on this side. So I'll go ahead and get that done first. And mark this as one way on the outbound. And this as one way on the inbound. With periodic stops. So you should be able to progress now. Yep, off it goes. And once it gets to the end, you'd be able to get over and switch over to the right track to get down into Pilsen. The only danger is if you get there... Yeah, hopefully it will know to stop here before progressing, because there is a chance that it will try to switch over into this lane when this station is being occupied by the grain line. So let's take a look and just make sure that doesn't happen. And yeah, you're heading out to Passau, and you should be able to switch over no problem, as the express train is heading out in this direction. So far, so good. Are you stopping? Yes, it successfully stopped, which gives this train time. I don't know why this train takes so long to get loaded, though. There's no reason for this one to still be waiting here. It looks like it's already done loading. So I'm really confused on this. But I think I am starting to get to the point where I'm a little bit on the tired side, and that may not be helping. This is definitely a game that you need your faculties. She keeps stealing my tech as well. I don't like that. Wow, okay, so I need clothing. I've got leather. I need sauerkraut. I need Hefeweizen. I need hops. I need sheep's wool and pastries. Okay, so I really need to just get the Hefeweizen into the system ASAP. So what if I build a 2-line train station? Can I get both of these? I can. Good. So if I take one of these lines and I take it through Budweiser, actually maybe I should upgrade this. I'll expand the station. Perfect. Then I can use that second track as kind of a bypass option. So this train will simply bypass Budweiser on the second track. And then if I demolish this, I can keep this connected all the way up through the top. Oh, Zurich. Zurich is way outside of my area. So I'll skip on this. Yeah, this is where I was working on. So I need to get the rail switches in place here. So before the switch back, I need that one way in this direction. Get a few stops along the path here. That should work for the first line. So that's going to go from Kaschauer through all of this to Pilsen and back. That's hardly going to be the most efficient line, but I don't feel like I have much of a choice. So, if I take that second line, keep it parallel for a little while, but before it gets to Pilsner, or Budweiser, if I swing this off in this direction, I could get this to be a parallel line up here. I need to get it just around the edge. Ooh, I can barely slide that through. Wait, no, what am I doing? Yeah, I actually don't want to do that. Okay, so it gets parallel, and then I can bind it onto this track. Because if I can loop this out and around to Prague, ooh, but this is actually open here. But that looks like it might be just too tight of a turn to be successful. No, it would work, but that gives me a 1 per... Why is that in red, though? Oh, wait, yeah, it was just slightly too tight of a turn as the computer drew it. But let's see if I can find a way to make this work in a more logical way. Yes, I can. It's 119 because there's a bridge right there. I think I can probably avoid having to do a bridge, though. So if I loop it around this way, yeah, I can get that as a... Okay, so it's still saying that there's a bridge, but I'm not sure where. Ah, right there in the middle. Oh, and I deleted the whole darn thing. Fantastic. Yeah, the bridge is right there. So if I can get that to just earthworks, and then swing around in this direction. Whoa. Yeah, this is a little bit on the fiddly side. So no bridge up to this point. And why don't you want to cooperate here? Okay, that works. That's all in green, no bridges, $120,000. But that would allow me to take the wool train currently servicing Prague out from the system that's going through Pilsen, because this area is starting to get a little bit on the backed up side. So if I can pull this train out, so it picks up hops, picks up wool, and gets into Prague, that could work. It's a little bit of a long line. I'm afraid that it's not going to be so profitable, but it will allow Prague to grow. And as long as I can get enough hops into Prague, what's the current consumption? 1.2, okay. So as long as I can get more than 1.2 a week of hops and wool into Prague from here, that could work. So let me just try this out. So I'm going to put it on manual systems. I want you to pick up 4 hops, 4 wool, and Prague I want you to leave with nothing. Alright, very good. And I don't remember if Prague has a dedicated wool line yet. Okay, so this line is basically just going back and forth to Pilsen, Prague, and then out. So this could be a good backup plan if my new idea does not work. But yes, I think that could be fine. So, potatoes and pigs, Pilsen. Are you doing well enough in those? You've got enough pigs, you do not have enough potatoes. So I could redesign this train. So rather than going to Prague, you leave the farm, you pick up some potatoes, then you get to Pilsen. So yes, if you pick up 4 of this. Whoa, why are you getting... How do you get the full train? Increases packages in the city by 10%. Yeah, I'll put down some money for that. Okay, so if you pick up 4, I want the departing train to come with nothing. But why do you have 8? You should not be able to have 8... Yeah, the incoming train... Alright, so you depart with 4. You pick up 4 potatoes, and you leave with nothing. Okay, that should work. So that doubles the amount of potatoes coming in for Pilsen. And that should take care of the potato shortage that they're dealing with. Okay. Now I just need to worry about getting hops. Is this double tracked? Yeah, I did get this double tracked already. Promoter. I'll actually spring on getting a good promoter. I'm going to go ahead and put you into Pilsen. Because I think Pilsen is a fairly centralized city. And that should benefit a wide range of express opportunities going into Pilsen the city. I don't like that he's doing so well. But why is this one bringing pigs back to the farm? His line's screwed up somewhere. Because there is absolutely no reason why you are bringing pigs to the pig farm. But hey, whatever. That's not my mistake to fix. Ooh, but he did go and get himself linked into Pilsner here. So that's unfortunate. So yeah, he's getting himself loaded up on express trains, it seems. But then he's taking them... Okay. So he's picking up passengers and sending them back in this direction. But first he is going through and stopping at the farm to be able to do that. Interesting. Yeah, but I'm up past the 2-hour mark at this point. Yeah, I'm about 2 hours and 15 in. And I think I am starting to get a bit on the confused side. Because frankly, this game shouldn't change so much with the addition of a DLC for Germany. But I think with all of the unexpected rebalancing and the far more aggressive AI, that I'm starting to fall behind here, and I do not like that. So I think I may meditate in this for the evening, but first, before I do that, I just want to get these hops going into Pilsen before I forget about that. Yeah, that should work. Perfect. So, yes, I think I'll go on ahead and leave this here in this case. But I do appreciate the 5 of you who are left. If you enjoyed it, feel free to check it out. This game is definitely going to be back. I was very much looking forward to the German DLC because, this is my region. I absolutely love this area of the world. So it's been fun actually going around between cities that I've actually been to. It's been actually more of a blast than I expected it to be. So I think next my goal is probably to go down and link up Vienna into my system and start looking at some of these other resources to get into these secondary cities. Because right now, pretty much none of my smaller cities are growing just because they are focusing more on being available to me in the form of express routes, more so than supply chains. So I think I'm going to try to get these other cities to grow a little bit. Because in Prague, I've got 42,000 people. Pilsen... Yeah, Pilsen's already up to 56. Wow. If any Czechs are watching this, they will not be pleased about... Well, if any Prague Czechs are watching, they won't be pleased about that. Prague is kind of proud about their status in their country. But yeah, so I think I need to focus on getting Prague to grow a little bit more. And also these secondary cities as well that have just not been connected to the supplies that they need. So those are going to be some of the things I'm going to be thinking about this evening. And I don't know if I'll be on tomorrow. And if so, I don't know if I'll be playing this or not. But this will be back at the latest sometime next week. Because I am a little bit obsessed with this game, and I'm perfectly okay with that. I'm comfortable with my obsessions. But yeah, from there, I'm just going to save this up and call it a night. But thank you again. Do have a good one, and hopefully I see you around again. But enjoy.